So today we're going to talk about something that I know there's not a lot of people, and that's kind of a bummer because I think the message is really important. Good news is it might not even take very long, but it's something huge. And it's this idea of comparison. We live in this world of constant comparison where we're wanting to do what everyone else is doing all the time. And it's really just something that's, with today's day and age, with technology and everything being what it is, you know, it's easier than ever to compare. We're more connected than ever in a certain sense, but it also brings its negatives, you know, in that we look at something and we automatically see what someone else has, and it takes our happiness and kind of just ruins it, I guess, in a way, because we look and we wonder, oh, this person's got that going on, or this person's got that going on. In the Bible, there's a couple of verses that just kind of really, make it clear. The main one we're going to be in today is Hebrews chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. I see Timmy flipping there, so I'll give him just a second. Hebrews 12, 1 and 2. While he's going there, the fastest way to kill something special is when we compare it to something else. And so that's the big thought, that if no one can hear anything else today, that's that. The fastest way to kill something special is when we compare it to something else. And I just look at the examples of someone has a truck, they're so proud of it, and then next thing you know, someone gets a truck that's 2 years newer. And so then next thing you know, it's your truck is no longer good enough. What you were so proud of, someone else shows up and you're like, someone has a job, you're super excited about it, and then next thing you know, someone gets a better job where they make more money, and all the enthusiasm that you had is no longer there. So Hebrews chapter 12, verses 1 and 2 says, "Therefore, since we surround ourselves by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw everything off that hinders and the sin so easily entangles us. Let us run with perseverance the race marked for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith." So really, if you could end it almost right there. The best way just to live a straightforward life and to be content with everything is just to fix our eyes on Jesus. Not worry about what's going on around us. Not worry about what Joe Schmo did, but just fix your eyes on the cross. Because here's the thing. When comparison begins, contentment ends. The minute that we start to compare what you have, that's when that happiness that you had left. The minute that we compare this church ministry, what it's going through, to, let's say, Life Church, the minute we say, we've got a long way to go. But the fact is that we've made improvements. We have a building now. We have some new people coming in. But if we're constantly saying, yeah, but they have 100 people, yeah, but they have 200 people, yeah, but they have 1,000 people, we're kind of looking at this is a little bit of a failure in a way, which it's not, but that's how it can go. And I just think about when I was putting this message together, the series of messages that have kind of come about, starting with the Dream Small message, and we talked about how, it's the little things that make a huge difference. And the minute that we just live in this world of comparison is the minute that the little things are no longer important. And so Josh Wilson in that song talks about how, it's the neighbor that helps the friend down the street. And it's the small churches that, are struggling to get by, but they're helping. And, it's the mom who's dealing with the pain in the butt kids all the time. The minute that they start to try to compare their lives to other lives, that's where the issues begin. Social media world, we're going to stick there for just a minute. It was put this way. We talk about comparisons and everything, and Stephen Furtick said that we try to compare, we take what someone puts on social media, what did he say? Hang on. So we try to compare our behind the scenes with their highlight reel. I want you to think about that for a second. Because we sit there and we look at someone, and how many times if you post a photo, are you making sure you're going through Select to make sure it's the right one? Like, you had a good camping experience, you're like, selfie! And you're taking it because you're like, we finally had that moment. But I got news for you. If you were to look at my household life on a day-to-day, you'd be like, and he's preaching today? Because it just doesn't, it's not, social media has taken us off of this, I guess, reality of what real life is. And we think and we see, oh, they've got it together, or they've got this. Or really, that could be the one time a month that they're together.
Right.
They don't see the parents screaming at their children. They don't see the days without showering that often goes on. They don't see, the arguments that we have, the times that the house is a disaster. No one sees that. No one sees the behind the scenes. But that happens for everybody. The problem becomes when we compare our behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Paul said in 2 Corinthians 10:12, he said, "Oh, don't worry. We wouldn't dare say that we are as wonderful as the other men who tell you how important they are, but they are only comparing themselves with each other, using themselves as a standard." How ignorant. So, last week Paul laid it out there when he said, get your butts up and do something. And this week Paul's laying it out there by saying, what, are you stupid comparing yourselves to other people? I mean, if we're putting it in layman's terms, that's what he's saying. Because here's what happens when we compare. It either makes you feel superior or inferior. And none of those honor God. When you try to compare yourself to someone else because you're having a bad day, and you're like, oh, well, this sucks, but it's better than Jimmy. You're trying to make yourself more superior than that person. When you sit there and say, oh, man, poor me, this isn't going well, then you're comparing yourself and you're trying to almost give yourself a pity party. It's not what God wants out of any of that. And that's what Paul's saying. We're not placed on this earth to compare ourselves to whoever. Comparison only leads to resentment, really, if you think about it. You're just going to be upset with everything with someone that's going on. This is like a sidebar piece, but I really wanted to get in there. I was having a conversation with my buddy Zach Hill about some struggles that I was going through. And he said, in a time of pain, we can allow ourselves to focus on the devil's timing and motives, and he takes advantage of the present because we're feeling pain now. We have to believe in God's timing because he is the ultimate power, and he can bless us over our lives. Maybe not now, but over our lives. The devil wants us to distract us with the now because the pain is in the present, but God's blessings can be past, present, or future. So we can't fully enjoy God's blessings if we're constantly living in the state of comparison. And I just thought that was huge because what happens when you're comparing? You're either, again, your ego's going to go here or your ego's going to go here. And especially over the hiccups we've had these past couple of weeks, the devil was like, literally saw that we're down and he's just trying to step on us more and more and more and more. And you could take it and you could say, all right, well, then we're done. And that's what the devil wants because we're comparing, what we think success is to what God thinks success is. And again, go with those alley things. Or we can just trust that God's got the bigger plan. And when we come to comparison, it's an interesting part that we go into because there's too many times where, we fall for the devil's traps. And we say, I want that, and I want this, and I want that. And so we're no longer happy. We just have to remember that life's a marathon. It's not a sprint. We try to sprint through life, that's when the mistakes happen. And so that's where we end up though, but when we're sitting there saying again, this person has this or that person has that, we live in the land of Everyone wants to have something nicer. Everyone wants to have something better. Everyone wants to have something bigger. Nothing is ever good enough. We say, oh, I had this house, but then I moved into a better one. Did you see Jimmy's truck? It's 2 years newer than Joe's truck. Did you see this? It's better than that. Did you hear about that creature? He's way better than Travis. Newsflash. Most people probably are, but we don't care. We're doing this thing. But we live in the land of the land of everyone. You can't be happy in the land of You can't. Because what happens when you buy that new truck? You're spending more money. And then what happens a year later? There's a newer truck. Or someone says, I bought your truck and then I put rims on it. Mine's sweeter than yours is now. So I keep using that truck, so I really want to have a truck again one of these days. But there's many other examples that we could go off of. But we live in the land of and one of the most, dangerous parts of living in the land of especially, is when it comes to raising our children. Because how many times have we either thought it or we've seen it where our kids do something that in our eyes is super awesome? I saw Matthew have this wicked sweet drawing today. It was awesome, Matthew. That picture that you made? Yeah, it was really good. So I saw Matthew have this really good drawing, but that's a huge milestone. So what if someone else came in and then they were like, oh, Matthew, that was really cool, but check out what my kid did. And then we can take it and, we could be like, well, my son should be doing this. No. Your kids are perfect just the way that they are. The hyperness, the craziness, it's all part of our life, but we live in this world of comparison. Well, my son was an angel. Well, my son did this. Oh, your son just had this milestone of they struck out 10 batters? Oh yeah, George did that 2 years ago. He struck out 12. Now he's in the major leagues. Congratulations, man. But when we compare our kids all the time, it's gonna if we don't nip it now, it's gonna lead to unhealthy relationships with our families because the kids are gonna constantly think what they're doing is not good enough. They're gonna constantly strive to do something more, which is gonna lead to them not being happy. Exactly. So I'm just trying to think. I mean, Bryce has so many different little milestones that if we were to say, "Oh yeah, but Joey did that," where do you find the joy in that? There's no joy when we're constantly saying, "Yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but." Two more little points to take. We cannot faithfully follow Jesus if we're always comparing ourselves to someone else. We can't. Going back to this church example for a minute here, I've heard people say oh, well, Travis doesn't talk about this, or Travis doesn't talk about that, or why can't you be more like this person? They're famous, or why can't you do this? Because that's not who I am. Looking in Exodus, God said, or let's see. I want to make sure I get the verse right. I thought I wrote it down on here. So apparently I didn't write the verse down. But God said to Moses, "I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you." When people try to compare me, guys, I am who I am. You are who you are. We're fearfully and wonderfully made. God did not make a mistake on us. So we all have our imperfections. We all have this, we all have that going on. But when we're constantly saying, "But I want to be this," or "I want to be this because Johnny's got this," or "Billy's got that," we're not honoring God by doing that at all. I am who I am. I am a quirky preacher who relies on his notes too much, whose messages are, I try to make them as simple as possible. That's me. I'm not going to change that. I'll try to improve upon that. But the minute that I say, "I want to be like Charles Stanley," or "I want to be like Matt Chandler," or "I want to be like Craig Rochelle," you can strive for that. But when you're comparing yourselves to, well, your message was 14 minutes long, theirs was 48 minutes long. Who's happy there? If I'm changing one life, that's all that matters, if anything. And that's what we have to go back to, that simple principle, though, of just dreaming small and just not, people can make mistakes and you can look at someone and expect them, but when you're constantly comparing the ins and outs of everything, you're not fixing your eyes on the cross, you're fixing your eyes on being like that other person. And that's where a lot of the issue lies, I think, more than anything. The last, thing is that, I put a quote on Facebook, and now I can't even find it on there, but it's basically that we're all rough drafts right now. None of us are in this defined state. We're not going to be completed, really, until we're in heaven. So we're all in a rough draft state. So if we're comparing a low point in your life to someone else, and we're like, "Oh, they didn't go through that," guess what? Your low point, you can then in turn take it, and then you can make it a high point by reaching someone else with what's going on. But if you're living in this comparison of, I had this problem, or I had that problem, or this used to be wrong with me, instead of being like, I overcame it, then you can't really reach that many people by just constantly saying that. And when we're also, the last thing is that when we're so busy looking out and wondering what everyone else is doing, we're missing the miracles that are right in front of us. Missing the miracles right in front of us, and we're constantly saying, I should be doing this, or I should be doing that, or, I just look back, just full disclosure with some kind of, in a way, jealousy that I had going on. It's like, I wish that I had more cash flow. My brother just got another raise, which is awesome. It's great. But if we're constantly saying, but you know what though? It takes a minute, and it's full disclosure. It takes a minute to really, I'm happy, but then there's this other point in this, oh gosh, I wish that I was making a little bit more money. But you look at the reality check of what Troy was put out to do. There's no way that I could do that. It's not what I'm called to do. And so when we're comparing, it's like comparing apples to oranges in a lot of ways. And so what happiness is going to come out of that? The happiness is going to come out of when we know that we're doing God's will. So that's being a stay-at-home mom that deals with the pain in the butt kids all the time. No way can I do that. No way can I do what Melanie and Carrie do. I would lose my mind if that was me all the time. My mom did it forever. She's still now a stay-at-home grandma. Something, not really sure what the term is for that. But whatever it is though, we don't see what goes on behind the scenes. We don't see the amount of hard work that is put into allowing for that to happen. So for us to try to say, oh, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that, it doesn't happen overnight. Nothing does. But when we live in this world of comparison, we're not living in a state of happiness. We're not fixing our eyes on Jesus. And that's what it really boils down to more than anything. It's the simplest message that we fix our eyes on the cross instead of comparison, instead of what everyone else is doing. Then, are we going to still hit our low points? Absolutely. It's going to happen every single day. But it makes life a little bit easier. It makes you enjoy the little moments a little bit more. It was close with this quick story. So, Matthew, we're almost done, but put that away, please. Close with this quick little story. So it's no secret that last week our launcher didn't have its share of hiccups along the way. So I was a little frustrated. We didn't have, we had to make do with some different things, and I was really hoping for a little bit better turnout, but it didn't happen. And Melanie just looked at me and she said, "Travis, what are you complaining about? You have a building that's been your dream." So, when we're constantly comparing to everything else, we forget the little things that we can take out of, like, you know what? So it didn't go as planned. It didn't have this blow me away type feel to it. But we've got our start. We've got our building. We've got advertisements that can come from that. So you can either compare yourself to a full-blown church that's been around for 30 years, or we can say this is where we're starting. Fix your eyes on what Jesus wants to do. If He wants us to grow, we're going to grow. If He wants us to stay, we're going to stay. But happiness isn't going to come when we're chasing after everything else. We need to think long and just fix our eyes on the cross. So that's all I've got for this. I don't know if anybody has a story that they want to share, or if they just want to close in prayer. It's a small group, so I just want to open it up. Anybody?
Well, I think it does go without saying. The more you have, the more you want, and like you said with your brother, you're really happy that you got a raise, but it's just human that you're like, man, I'd like that too. But we just have to know that no matter what, as I know God's right there, no matter what, He's going to provide for us. No matter what, as long as we're living in His building, He wants us to do.
Hi, Brady. You little alien. Anybody else have anything else they want to share, even not in relation to the message at all? Otherwise, we'll just close out in prayer and we can be on our merry way.
Just get up every morning and look out the beauty that's out there. Whether it's raining or snowing or whatever, man, it's a gift, it's a blessing. Be thankful for that. It's all about that.
What's that coffee? Coffee.
That's empty.
Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and close in prayer. Lord, thank you so much for this time together, God. Thank you for holding off on the rain so we can have a nice weekend, Lord. And I just pray that as all of us go throughout our week this week, that we just fix our eyes on you, Lord, and we just don't worry about the crap that's going on in the world around us, Lord. And I just pray a special prayer over our veterans, past, present, and future, Lord. And just their bravery is so much more than mine. I could never leave my family and have the possibility of not coming home, Lord. So we are so thankful for that. And we just pray that you continue to watch over that, Lord. And just help us all just go out this week, Lord, and do your will. I just think especially that Mother's Day was last week, but I pray that you do the moms out there. They just got their load is pretty heavy dealing with the kids all the time, God. And I just pray that you give us all the strength to do it.